Hello, welcome along to Clarence Daily. We're on the banks of the mighty Clarence River, and can you believe it's the third year of our local state MP's term in office? Richie Williamson, the member for Clarence for the National Party, is with us by the mighty banks of the Clarence River. Richie, g'day.
Day, mate. Pretty good day.
Absolutely beautiful day.
Yeah.
Born and bred Clarence Valley.
Yeah.
Must make you proud to represent the people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm born here, raised here, worked here, married here, got a family here. You know, I'm born in Grafton Base Hospital in 1973. Strangely enough, the same maternity ward that's still there.
But that could all change.
I hope so. I'll be watching the state government budget very, very closely. I'm now very confident that within weeks there will be a head tenderer announced, and it's all systems go for the almost what I'm hoping is $300 million refurbishment of the Grafton Base Hospital.
Certainly needs it. I was in hospital a couple of weeks ago. Great service by the doctors and nurses. There's no doubt about that. But certainly looking a bit old and tired, and it needs an upgrade, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And there's a bit of a build it and they will come kind of mentality here. People raise with me all the time that, sure, the building's nice, but it's all about the staff and the people in it. And our doctors and nurses are really, really overworked. No doubt about it. How do you fix that? Well, I think you pay them more for a start, particularly the nurses. They've got a different pay rate in New South Wales to Queensland. And if you're a nurse in Queensland, you'll earn $13,000, $14,000, $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 more a year, depending on your qualifications and hours. So we need to fix that. That's how you fix that, and you get quality staff that we have in our hospitals, paid a good wage with a new hospital, and I'm sure the staff will come.
Yeah, and people will stay too.
For sure, doctors will stay if they can see results, if they can see a new hospital, a new theatre. For example, a new maternity wing, which is planned for but just not funded to transition into. Of course doctors will stay, and young bubs and mums can have the best treatment possible at Grafton Base Hospital. I think is terrific.
Like you did back in 1973.
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, 1973. Yeah, too right.
Not that I want to rub that in.
No, well, I'm older than you, mate.
Only by a couple of years. I mean, we're looking at the Grafton Base Hospital now, but across the road, the old Grafton Jail, which, of course, you were actually there the day that they announced the closure.
Yeah, it was.
Rallying with the community to stop the government from doing it.
Yeah,
they since obviously built the Clarence Correctional Centre out at Whoop Whoop.
Clarence,
that's the one.
Yeah.
But you look at the old Grafton Jail today and the work that's going on, that's great news for nurses that are coming into the area to stay.
Yeah, 36 units being developed there, another 36 certainly in stage 2. It's part of my job to get the funding for stage 2, and I'm working with the ministry and the minister and the government on those kind of funding issues. But it's great to see stage 1 underway. The administration for the hospital will also go across the road there, and I think there's other opportunities as well for that old site at the Grafton Jail. Another thing on health, our ambulance station is really, really, really old. It's outdated. It's not fit for purpose. So I am very much pushing the government to invest in our ambulance station, particularly at Grafton. Iluka's got a new one. Casino has a new ambulance station. Evans Head has a new ambulance station. Yamba has a reasonably new ambulance station, not brand new, but certainly when I was mayor, I was a part of the push to, with Jimmy Agnew, to get that ambulance station. So there's 2 that need a bit of help that I'm concentrating on. Grafton and Maclean are the 2 ambulance stations that need a fair bit of loving, to be honest.
Well, I know we were down there at the ambulance station with a few of the ambulance officers at one point in time in regards to getting more intensive
care, paramedics.
Yeah. What's the update on that?
Well, we've still got the petition live. To be honest, I don't think we'll get to the 20,000 that will force a debate, but I'll certainly get to the 500, which will force a reply from the government, which is good. It just makes sense that you have intensive care paramedics located away from the major hospitals. I mean, why have 15 of them right next to for example, the Coffs Harbour health campus, which is terrific, good on them. But why have them there when they're needed in more remote areas? When I say remote, removed areas from a major hospital, trauma hospital like Lismore or like Coffs Harbour. It makes more sense to have them in places like Grafton, in places like Maclean, in places like Evans Head and even Ballina. It just makes more sense to have them there. So that's what we're pushing for, that's what I want, and I'll work with the AMBOs and the union to get that across the line. It's going to take, play the long game here, but we'll continue to push.
Doesn't happen overnight, but it will hopefully happen.
Well, we saw that yesterday with the bridge, Bluff Bridge.
Yes, long time coming.
A long time coming. First mooted by council in 1963 to replace the bridge, and we opened it just recently. So, yeah, long time coming.
And that was actually funded under the previous government.
Yeah, it was. It was funded under Fixing Country Bridges program, which no longer exists. $16 million, 11 of that from the state. The remainder from the federal government, and it's a great asset, 9 metres higher. It'll be more flood resistant now, obviously, certainly fire resistant. Timber bridges are not. So yeah, great outcome, and credit where credit's due to Clarence Valley Council, who managed the project in-house, delivered it with their construction partners on time and on budget. Well done to them.
Which is really important.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking about emergency services before. I want to talk about the police. We had the mayor on the radio just recently. He went for a tour around the Grafton Police Station and was actually surprised at the rabbit warren that it is.
Yes.
And the police are asking the government to look at possibly a new police station. Are you up to date with that?
Yes, I certainly am. In fact, I'm driving it. You may recall that I invited the police minister up here in July last year, and I was really thrilled that she came. She inspected the police station. She spoke to our local police officers. Minister Catley has an understanding of, your words not mine, the rabbit warren that the police station is, particularly at Grafton, and I hope, and I'll continue to advocate for a new redeveloped police station at Grafton. But in saying that, the police stations are not in great shape in my electorate. They really are not in great shape. Casino is, I'm going to say worse, to be honest, than Grafton. Probably not as busy, certainly not as busy. It is a 24-hour police station, but not as busy as Grafton. I think Maclean and Yamba are seriously outdated. So there's a lot of work to do on redevelopment of police stations. And law and order is at the front of my mind, I can assure you.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we saw recently on social media the owners of a shop out at Woolai upstairs, when their shop was closed, got woken to some sounds downstairs. The owner looked at his phone and saw there was a group of, teenagers ransacking the place. Then they tried to break into the home. Unfortunately, the police station wasn't manned out at Woolai at the time. Took 50 minutes for police to get out there. By that time, the people inside had taken off. What can we do about that? I mean, that's quite scary.
It is extremely scary. It's not a problem just for Woolai, sadly. It's a reflection of many things in our community. But yes, it is very scary. I've asked the police to go to Woolai and talk to the community, which they are next week on the 5th of May. And they're going to have a coffee with a cop session in Woolai. So if you're in Woolai, please go and talk to the police. I want them to hear firsthand the issues. Now that's very, very serious crime, and I want those perpetrators brought before the court, and I want the court to do their job. I want the courts to reflect communities' expectations. They don't always do that, in my opinion. That's only my opinion, and I think if there are equal consequences for your actions, I think we'll see some of these issues change really, really quickly. Now that needs to be driven by legislation, of course, and I've been a part of, and I've moved in Parliament and spoken to in the Parliament legislation that makes it tougher on these type of crimes, particularly around bail. I think that's really, really important. Make it tougher. There's a rule or a law, it's a very, very long-seated law, it's called Dolly Incapax, which in a nutshell says if you're under the age of 14, you don't know the right from wrong, the different, and I don't think that's reflective of today's society, particularly when police tell me they're locking up young people, and no one wants to see young people locked up. And the first thing the young person does is utter the words Dolly Incapax. They know.
Yeah.
You know. So how do you fix that? Well, you swap the burden of proof. You need, you know, instead of being assumed you don't know the right from wrong, you need to prove to the court you don't know right from wrong, and that will be a major shift. You know, in laws in New South Wales. Now, that law is in every state in Australia, but in the UK, that's exactly what they did. They reversed the onus of proof. So let's see. That's what I am advocating for, and I know my colleagues are advocating for that as well.
I've noticed that the magistrates and the judges, when they're making these decisions, they seem to be untouchable from the media. They don't get questioned. They don't get, you know, asked why they've come up with that decision. Is there a reason why these people who are making these decisions, you know, don't seem to be accountable for those?
Well, I mean, that's a very, very good question. And there does need to be a separation of lawmakers and the law administrators. I get that. But I don't think anyone should be untouchable in a decision that they make. Yeah, sure, judges and magistrates do have a difficult job. I'm not saying that their job is not difficult, but you know, I always think, and I have always said, Damo, that you know, the sentences need to reflect communities' expectations, and at times they fall short.
I mean, just recently during the school holidays, we had reports of, you know, young teenage girls walking down Prince Street with, you know, big knives and holding people up and so forth. I mean, that's scary in its own right,
and not acceptable. And we shouldn't accept that for 1 second. Should we accept that? You know, I've spoken to shop owners in Prince Street that have raised those very issues. And credit where credit's due, the Minns government, and I supported these laws, brought in the wanding legislation. Now, I think they could have been a bit tougher, to be absolutely honest with you. But, you know, there are now laws that gives police powers in certain circumstances to use a wand to find out what you're carrying, what do you got in your pocket. Now, those operations have happened in Grafton. They have happened in the Lower Clarence, and certainly just weeks ago in Casino. And they have shown up some pretty scary stuff, to be honest with you. So I want those to continue. I've spoken to the police command about that as well, about, you know, having another hit squad. Good time to do it. Let's do it sooner rather than later. Crime is a big problem. I can't have people petrified in their workplace. I can't have people petrified in their homes. No one wants that, and neither do the police. So how do we also invest in programs that, you know, turn people around, particularly our youth? I don't want I don't want to see people locked up, let alone a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, or even an adult. So let's invest in the programs. Early intervention, I reckon every dollar spent in early intervention will save heaps.
That's what the PCYC was set up for originally, wasn't it? To you know, help those kids that are going through maybe a troubled past or in trouble with the law? Yeah,
and there is a bit of that goes on at the PCYC. Not as much as I'd like to see. The PCYC is a business. Let's call it for what it is. But there is, you know, there are police programs out there. So I'm not here to bag them, but I'd like to see more of it. You know, Clontarf over at South Grafton High School, a terrific program with Aboriginal boys.
Yep.
You know, and they every Tuesday, every Thursday, they're there early. They have a breakfast club. They're there early. They have a boxing session. You know, and engaging in youth at that level is a part of the solution here. That Clontarf program, and South Grafton is very, very fortunate to have it. I'm busting my guts to get it over in Casino. We're not there yet, but you know, I've spoken to the Department of Education. I've spoken to the Minister about getting approval. I think we're nearly there, but not quite.
Always patience.
Patience. Play the long game. They tell me you're not going to change it overnight, but play the long game.